So, I have to turn back to movies again because the big news for this past week, because obviously we're building up to E3, we'll be previewing that next week because I don't know what the hell I'm going to be doing for that sort of stuff. It might be daily videos, it might be conference videos. Don't expect them to be immediate and everything because of processing, but there will be some sort of content pretty much every day of the press conferences. So that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I guess Tuesday because of Nintendo. Because actually the Switch looks like it might be something that, you know, although I'm not buying at the minute because I've already got my PS4 and I only get so many things a year. I only get so many consoles a year due to the price of them. It seems like it's something we should be taking an interest in. So anyway, so yeah, a lot of movie news. Some of it coming out of the Cannes Film Festival. Some of it just happening sort of at the same time. But at the same time that they revealed new Spider-Man trailers, they announced that Tom Holland, the Peter Parker as of now anyway, is going to be Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie. Yes, the Uncharted movie that they talked about for years as happening. Looks like it's finally sort of happening because Holland is signed up to star as Nathan. And they've basically stressed, Sony here, that this story is nothing to do with the video games. It's sort of an origin story. Obviously, you saw some of the origin of him and his younger self in, I think it was Uncharted 3, when he met Sully for the first time. So, I expect it'll basically be another sort of younger Nathan story. So they've basically stressed that it's not anything to do with Uncharted 1, 2, 3 or 4. It's set before all them, and it's sort of as I say, an origin story as to the character of Nathan. So, just means that it's going to be a younger lead. And it'll probably be another good test of Tom Holland. Because obviously, he didn't do too bad a role for his little bit in Civil War. Spider-Man's coming up next month. We'll see how it goes, and then, you know, who knows what happens with Uncharted. Hopefully it's good. Then just the pressure is make a Last of Us movie good. That I don't think should have Joel or Ellie. Perhaps it should be a different story from the same sort of epidemic and whatever. That would be the interesting twist. Because then if they get Ellen Page in for it, like, they don't realise it, do they? Just because she looks like her and everybody reacted like that. Anyway. The other thing that came out from Sony is that they're working with James Wan. Guy behind the Saw stuff, did Fast 7, Star Trek Beyond, loads of other stuff, lots of horror stuff, Conjuring. I think, no, Star Trek Beyond wasn't Wham, wasn't it? I think. I know he did Furious. And he's doing the upcoming Aquaman. That might be what I'm getting it confused with, I don't know. But yeah. He and I think it's Greg Russo, who he's screenwriting with, they're going busy on a lot of stuff. There's a Robotech thing that's apparently in the process of being pitched and put together. There's like a Category 6 weather storm thing. And then there's the reboot of Resident Evil. Apparently, Wan is going to be directing, producing, and Russo's writing a script. Considering Wan's background, I would not be surprised if this goes sort of in the direction Resident Evil, more towards actually where the video games are now. Perhaps sort of a because they are stressing it is a reboot, it could be something in the vein of Resident Evil 7. In that it's, rather than a giant sort of virus in a town sort of thing, it's actually just this thing that's sort of spread into, obviously in 7 it's the sort of bayou sort of mid-south sort of area, or deep south, certainly south, very much south. Also though, apparently they are putting together a Mortal Kombat thing, which I'm guessing will be Warner Brothers, because they have the rights to the games, but I'm not entirely sure, as in terms of who actually holds the movie rights. So, I mean, you know, James Wan certainly doing a Mortal Kombat thing. He's done action with Fast 7 and obviously the upcoming Aquaman. And he's done horror and gore that you get from Fatality. Just the thing is, can it be done right? Because the first one was actually not too bad, if you remember it. And then the sequel, Annihilation, was utterly awful. So we've got that. Plus, Netflix have announced they're going to be working on a Witcher series. Basically, rather than trying to be the actual games themselves, it's going to adapt some of the extended universe books and novels and everything that have been written over the past decade or so, since the first game came out. Probably over a decade, I'd say, because I think the first game was like 05-ish, from what I remember. All that is coming. Trying to think, there was some other video game bit movie related thing. I guess to some extent it's I think it was something out of canon. I can't remember what it was. It might have been... No, that wasn't. No. Come to think of it, that's probably actually it. You can see how these come up on the fly, you know. It's hot over here. Eyes be boiling. It's not, you know, it's pretty hot weather and everything. All in all, you know, looking at this, the Nathan Drake thing looks promising. They aren't trying to sort of reboot the game series after that sort of partially left its way, even though we are getting that pseudo sort of sequel with the characters from the last few games in Uncharted The Lost Legacy, the two girls. That's coming, what, I think July or August time. So the movie itself looks to be promising. Netflix doing Witcher stuff, you know, might make me interested in actually picking up a subscription. Probably won't. It's also worth noting with that Netflix stuff, or the Witcher stuff, it isn't anything to do with GOG / CD Projekt Red either. It's the extended universe stuff, which, although it's sort of the property, and they've licensed it out to be used in the books aren't, although they are sort of canon, certainly in some aspects, because they do get adapted into certainly the third game. There's a lot of stuff in there that is sort of stuff that's extrapolated on from the novels and the backstory sort of stuff. That seems promising as long as they do it right. And Netflix have been more hit than miss at the minute, so let's hope it's alright. And then as well, James Wan coming in to reboot Resident Evil. You know, some of the Resident Evil didn't do too bad. Obviously, the last one did very well in China, because they love it there. Arguably, the Mortal Kombat one, I'm less sure of, considering in recent years how that Street Fighter sequel, the Chun-Li one, was utterly awful. Annihilation wasn't that good, and the Tekken films, apart from the animated ones, the two Tekken live-action films that they've done really haven't been that good either. But you'd have thought with, films like The Raid and one of the big ones at Cannes, which seems to be this action sort of epic, and even Jason Bourne with its hand-to-hand combat style stuff, you'd have thought that that sort of genre of movie is something that could be adapted into a Mortal Kombat thing. Then again, because it's James Wan, it's weird how to think he'll do it. Because obviously, if you think of just the Furious stuff, that's sort of massive set pieces, like it will be in Aquaman. And most of his other stuff is the bread and butter horror stuff, which hopefully means that we'll get a gory combat thing, not try and PG-13 the thing or whatever. Which, considering it's an 18 certificate game or rated R wherever you are in the world, let's be hopeful about this stuff. We haven't had some good video game movies in quite a while. Really. I'm trying to think, is there one coming up this year? Probably. Oh, I guess Friday the 13th, because that just came out as a video game. We'll just piss everybody off and say it's based on the video game. Then again, the video game's been getting relatively good reviews, so perhaps they'll want it to be tied with that rather than the last few Friday the 13th, which have been not so good. But anyway, E3 preview time next week, everybody.